It's the 8th anniversary, and you've pulled the LRGT Duo. How do you build a team around them? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at one of the anniversary LRs, the LRGT Duo. These guys are part of the 8th anniversary, coming here in just about 2 days as of me recording this video. In a previous video, we went over a team building guide for the LR Bomb Duo, their counterpart to the 8th anniversary. But in this video, we're going to focus on these guys and building a team around mostly their leader skill, because I imagine most of you who are going to pull them are going to want to try to run them as leaders. So we're going to talk about building a team around their leader skill, but we've also got a few other teams you could possibly run them on. So let's go ahead, let's jump in, let's start with what they do, because it's going to determine how we build a team around them. So they are Power of Wishes and Battle of Fate, category key 3, HP attack defense 170%. They get an additional attack and defense 30% for characters on Final Trump Card or Shadow Dragon Saga. As far as leader skill goes, it's not the worst, but I definitely think the Z Duos is better, if only because their 170 gives them access to both Gogeta and Vegito, the 5-year fusions, whereas this leader skill only gives you access to Vegito. Final Trump Card covers both Vegitos and Gogetas. Unfortunately, they don't get that, so it's still not a bad leader skill, and there's still some pretty good characters on it. So let's take a look at their super attacks. On their 12 key, they're raising attack infinitely, raising defense for 1 turn, and causing colossal damage. On their 18 key, they're greatly raising attack infinitely and greatly raising defense for 1 turn while causing mega colossal damage. So they're opposite the Z Duo, and it makes sense, right? When we begin to look at their passive, you understand why that is. But they need the attack in order to build their standby, because not only do they have to launch multiple supers to gain their standby, but unlike the Z Duo standby where you can build charges to make their attack more powerful, these guys have a revival through their standby, so it's only going to hit as hard as as high as their attack is built up, right? So to take advantage of that, as I had mentioned before, you do want to build them a little more crit with some supplemental additionals, right? The crit is to take advantage of, to get the most out of their Spirit Bomb. Now, let's take a look at their attack and defense. On their passive is 200%. They get an additional attack defense 50% when 50% or more HP. They get an additional 100% and additional key 1 obtained as the first attacker in the turn. They get an additional attack 100% and additional key 2 per key sphere obtained as the second or third attacker. So same as the Z Duo. They launch an additional attack that has a 70% chance of becoming a super attack when key is 18. They have a guaranteed additional super attack when key is 24. They also get an additional key 1 and reduce damage received by 10% up to 50 with each super attack performed. So unlike the Z Duo, who kind of maybe want to float around in slot 2 for a little bit before moving into slot 1 to get some extra defense, these guys build up to 50% defense. So really, after the first turn, they're more than capable of handling slot 1. They'll have enough damage reduction early on to handle until they build up the rest of their damage reduction, and 50% damage reduction tends to be more than enough for most events. Now, once you've met certain criteria, you can switch to their standby and take advantage of one of the most powerful revival mechanics in the game. You can activate it when you are 50% or less HP, or after receiving 4 or more attacks in battle. So you definitely want to push them into slot 1 after getting that defense build up, right? That damage reduction, because you want them to take the hits to activate their standby. Although you could just rely on the HP. I've done it a number of times, although it's not that consistent. Now, once you stand by, things change a little. Now they are not greatly raising attack infinitely. Now it's only for the turn and on their 12 key, but on their 18 key, they also give allies an additional 40% for the turn. So they are supporting on their 18 key. They're basically lost all the defense and damage reduction that they built up in exchange for attack and support. They are attack 250%. They get an additional defense 150% when 50% or above HP. They also also get an additional key 8 and 80% to all allies. That is huge, right? If you can successfully put these guys in slot 1, like if there's not too many attacks or whatever the case may be, you can end up giving your slot 2 unit, whoever that ends up being, a 120% attack raise. That is huge. Now, they revive with 100% HP recovered when a character or ally within the turn is KO'd. They also have an additional attack 39% when performing that finishing blow. Now, the finishing blow, like we said, is activated the same turn in which you are KO'd. Very, very easy to proc, right? Just throw them in front of a super and you're good to go. Now, with all of that said, like the Z-Bomb duo, you want to build around utilizing their Spirit Bomb. So you want to use them on teams where you can take advantage of a revive. So you don't want to be running these with other revive characters if you need those other characters to revive. These guys are better used as the sole reviver on the team because you want to take advantage of that Spirit Bomb. So let's start with their own team. Not that one. Where is it? It's hiding from me. Here it is. Power of Wishes. So let's start with Power of Wishes, right? The reason we're going to start with their 170 leads is because if we look at their 200% lead, well, not the worst here, right? Using the Dokkan Info website, was able to set this up. This is their 200% for Battle of Fate, Power of Wishes, Final Trump Card, and Shadow Dragon Saga. It's not the worst, but certainly not the best either, right? You've got some decent units on their 200% lead, right? You have, the superhero units, Gohan and Piccolo. You have Kaioken Goku, who can be fun to use. He's also a huge attacker. If you could keep him protected while they do their thing, he'll be pretty fun. You have God Goku, you have HVLLR Gohan, right? You have this Goku and the LR Vegeta as well. He's on Battle of Fate. What happened here? Yeah, the LR Vegeta. Let's try research. I think something's a little messy here. Here we go. That's better. Okay. Yeah, okay. I knew that didn't look right. So we have here the GT Super Saiyan 4s. We have the LR Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. We have the AGL LR Goku, Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku, Vegito Blue, right? This is what I was saying. It's like, with this leader skill, you don't get access to Gogeta Blue, but you do get access to Vegito Blue instead of Gogeta. They do have a Junior on the team, which is always fun to run, but there aren't too many characters you can utilize well with them on here, I think. I mean, yeah, none of these guys really link well with him, even the other TURs, right? I mean, your best bet, I guess you could run these two together. I wouldn't recommend it, right? The LR version, but it's there. But that's pretty much it for their 200%. So because that's their 200%, you do want to focus on their 170. So like Power of Wishes, like with the Z-Bomb duo, you have access to a lot of the same characters. LR Bulma, LR Orange Piccolo, and a few others, right? You have on the TUR side of things, you have Ultimate Gohan, you have Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Now at 55%, he's not that great of an addition, right? If he's somebody you just picked up, but if you've got this guy rainbowed, he actually works pretty all right on their team. So, not the worst thing ever. The limit breakers, with the introduction of the new Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, actually work pretty well with these guys, provided you build the team around full power. God Goku also on the team. This Goku, who will be getting an easy A, in the Turles celebration, is really, really good on the team. He's supporting, he's doing a lot for them. This new Kaioken Goku, if you need a fill unit, he's not the worst, but the way I see a Power of Wishes team built with these guys is basically one rotation of the LR GT duo and the LRZ duo if you end up pulling them, or the LR GT duo and Spirit Bomb Absorb Goku. I figure a lot of you are probably going to have them, and as we mentioned before, he is one of the better link partners for pretty much all of them. where is he? Right here, right? He shows 5 links. So if you didn't pull these guys, he is another good option to run with them on a turn. You'll just need to make sure that the rest of the team also has some good Super Saiyans on it, which there are plenty on the team. This guy is actually on the 200% team, and he's getting an easy A on JP for Tenabata, so that'll be us on December. If he ends up being good, he might be an excellent option for that, for these guys as a partner. But again, the way I see it is kind of the same way I said with the Z-Bomb duo. You have one rotation, GT duo and Z duo, and then the other rotation, GT duo and Bulma. This allows you to keep Bulma's support up at a constant. These guys won't need too many links to function as well as they do, and then you could always fill out the third slot with somebody who would fill out their links, right? You could build a team, basically these guys, Z duo, Bulma, Orange Piccolo, and full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku to fill out some of those links, and you'll be pretty much set for whatever boss you're facing. Orange Piccolo would allow you to allow both of these guys to get their standbys off with a free turn without any worry of anyone dying, right? So that way when you need to proc their revive, you can do so safely, right? Especially for these guys, right? Because you'll need an extra turn of protection if you're running these guys on that team. Kai Goku, who comes in the part 2, he is a great addition. He can be slot 1 for one of the GT duos if you don't have LR Bulma. Looking at their other later skill though, right? The Power of Wish is a very limited category, and you're basically running all the same units, right? So let's look at Battle of Fate, their other leader skill. Battle of Fate gives you a little more leeway. There's a lot you can work with here if you're running their Battle of Fate team, right? You could even run a Battle of Fate team with these guys as a floater, right? Or at least one of them as a floater. The way I see a Battle of Fate team working with them is them as leader, one rotation of Vegeta and Trunks, one rotation with LR Gohan, and then the other rotation with the GT duo and the Z duo if you got them. If you don't got them, then the LR Super Saiyan Force is a good option because they are on Battle of Fate, right? So you guys know how LR Gohan works. The only issue with this team is there are no androids on... Well, actually, no, there is an android on Battle of Fate. There is... Where is he? This guy. Fizz 17. So this setup would allow you to transform AGL Gohan as well. And I think this is probably... Their Battle of Fate team is actually pretty good, especially because, right, this guy ends up being on the team. Gohan's on the team. Is Gohan on both of their leader skills? What is their secondary again? I have to remind myself here. Final Trump. No, he's not. He's not on Final Trump card. But still, I mean, we know that LR Gohan can function just as well on a 170. But this could definitely be a good setup. You're going to be pretty well protected with this setup. And on the turns when you're not, right, you do have their revive. But that's kind of it for their Battle of Fate team. There aren't too many other options you could run. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could utilize... So, like the Z Duo, you could mix their Battle of Fate and their Power of Wishes team and utilize Blue Kaioken Goku when he EZAs, because there is the UI Gokus on Battle of Fate, right? You have this UI Goku, you have the AGL UI Goku. With them, that's 3 reps of Universe 7. You'll be able to... And Fizz 17, you'll be able to rock. Blue Kaioken's active skill because he needs reps of Universe 7 on the team. So that actually, you know, that could work, right? So that's another way to build the team. Utilize them. Put these guys as the lead. Blue Kaioken in on one rotation in slot 1. Have I don't know, I guess one of the AGL UIs or SCR UI. Is SCR UI on here? No, he's not. Wow, okay. He's not on Battle of Fate. But Int UI is, right? So Int UI or AGL UI in slot 2, have Fizz 17 floating, and then you're good to go. You have the setup you need to do his active skill. But that's pretty much it for their leader skills, right? Some combination of Battle of Fates and Power of Wishes is going to get you by. I do find that they do have a far significantly better team. I'm going to go over 2 last teams here that I think are better than their leader skill. If you have the World Tournament Goku, their best team is actually Powerful Comeback. Because they have that revive. World Tournament Goku's team is probably the best team for him because all those characters I mentioned that are on his that are on their leader skill for their 170 are on this guy's 200% team, as well as these guys on his 200% team, because he also leads Battle of Fates. So a great place for them is actually on his team, right? And they, being a revive character, can activate his skill if you revive them early enough, right? So, right, you know, let's say you're in the STR phase of Broly. You've got this guy as lead. You've got these guys on a rotation, possibly even with him. You activate their standby, get yourself through the STR phase. By the time you roll back around to the phase, he's got his passive up. These guys are back to damage reduction. And this guy just steamrolls through the AGL phase because their Spirit Bomb is more than enough to take out the STR phase of Broly, provided you actually built their attack enough. But so I do think that a team encompassing Goku, right, and any of his decent link partners, right, he's got plenty. Any of his decent link partners on one rotation, and then the other rotation of your friend Goku and these guys, and you'll be rocking solid. You could even run 2 rotations of like this guy and one of his other good partners, and then these guys just floating too. I would prefer to have them on rotation, but you know, whatever works for your team builds, right? I think usually when I run Goku, I run him with Krillin on one rotation. So I would run him with Krillin on one, and then him with the GT duo on the other. Even though they aren't the best of link partners, it'll more than get the job done, to be completely honest. But that's pretty much it for Powerful Comeback. Obviously, Goku's Earth Red Fighters gives you access to a lot more characters like Ultimate Gohan. It gives you access to guys like Yamcha. It gives you access to Bulma and Yajirobe, who could continue to support as well if you've got those guys. Another great team for him, this is the last one I'll end with, is the GT Heroes team. While they don't personally lead GT Heroes, the LR Super Saiyan 4s do. Now, they are on the LR Super Saiyan 4's 170 lead. They are not on their 200% team, but on the GT Heroes team, they can work pretty well, right? So you would have a rotation of those guys and the LR Super Saiyan 4s, and then the LR Super Saiyan 4s, and then whoever you wanted to run with them. I usually run them for right now with the AGL or the full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, this one on JP, and when Tanabata rolls around, right, for us that's in December, this guy and the Z duo or the GT duo actually make a pretty decent combination as well. So that'll be a combination you can run on GT Heroes in December when this guy comes around, who he also leads GT Heroes, and they are on his 200% team for that. Another good option to throw into the GT Heroes mix is Pan. These guys, being that the Goku is actually a GT Goku, means that they activate Pan's passive and her unit super. So on a GT Heroes team, right, you could have the LR Super Saiyan 4s as lead. You could have them combined with one of your Gokus on one rotation. And then you could have Pan and the GT duo on the other, and you will be rocking pretty solid. Pan is really good. A lot of people sleep on her, but, you know, provided she's not taking any crazy supers after she attacks, she is great in slot 1, and she hits like a truck after a few turns. Combine that with these guys, and you are rocking solid. Just make sure you have another Goku somewhere on the somewhere in your floating pool, so that way when you do transform them to take advantage of their 80% attack support, she can still get her active skill off, because she needs a Goku, and once they transform, the Goku part disappears. So you do want to make sure you have another Goku somewhere floating that you can still use her active once you go into standby for these guys. So anyways, guys, that is the video. I know that was a bit to cover. I tried to keep it a little more concise than our previous video. I think I did a little bit of a better job. But that is my advice for how to build a team with the LR GT duo. There's a lot to consider, and I think you're good no matter what you do, because they are just that great of a unit. They will slide into any of the teams on their categories, right? Shadow Dragon Saga, Pure Saiyans, Joint Forces, Final Trump Card, Connected Hope, Powerful Comeback. Whatever you're sliding them into, they're going to do their job, and they're going to do it well as providing damage reduction and a powerful standby skill. So like I said, guys, that is the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, how would you build your team around the GT duo? This is just some of my suggestions, but I would love to see what ideas you guys have in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.